Today is an exciting day. It's a show that I had to put off because of technical difficulties. So today we're putting on the show that really goes back to abuse, as last week we did a show on survivors of abuse that went quite well. And today we're bringing back on victim services, and we're also bringing on a shelter to address where you need to go, where you need to turn to if you are dealing with abuse, or you think you may be dealing with abuse, you're not sure, and have the ability to give them a call and know where to turn, whether you are in South Florida or if you're in California. So I really am happy to bring on the show today from Victim Services. I'm pleased to bring on Susan, and I would like to have Susan introduce herself, say a little bit about herself, because she does work with Victim Services.
Hello?
Hello, I'm here. If you can go ahead and share with our listeners about Victim Services and introduce your name.
Hi, everyone. My name is Susan Carlini. I am with Palm Beach County Victim Services and Certified Rape Crisis Center here in Palm Beach County. We are a facility that has 5 locations throughout the county. We are a 24-hour confidential crisis helpline. We have about staff 30 advocates who are also certified rape crisis counselors. We have currently 5 licensed therapists on staff, and our advocates assist with victims' compensation, provide court accompaniment to criminal and civil, cases. We do sexual assault relocation. We also have a fully staffed SANE program, which is our sexual assault nurse examiners who go out on a 24-hour basis to respond to sexual assault. Our staff provides community awareness, professional training to medical, legal, and law enforcement. We provide therapy groups for all crimes, including domestic, at about 5 of our locations.
That's great. So you're all over Palm Beach County. You are all over Palm Beach County.
Yes, we are in Palm Beach County.
Okay, do you want to just give those locations again so everybody heard, and then the phone number that people can call if they're not in Palm Beach County here in South Florida?
Okay, so our offices are located in the courthouses throughout the county. We have our main courthouse on North Dixie Highway. We have the North County Courthouse, which is located up in Palm Beach Gardens. Our South County Courthouse office is located down in Atlantic and Delray Beach. And then we have our West County office out on State Road 15. We also have our SART Center, which is the Sexual Assault Response Center, which is off of 45th Street in Australia.
Okay.
And our local helpline, which can connect you to any one of our facilities, which is closer to you, is 561-833-7273.
That's fantastic. Now, Susan, I'd like to, in our show, is give our listeners some personal side to everyone who's on our show. So can you share with our listeners what led you to want to work in this field and be with the agency?
Well, for myself personally, I started out working with law enforcement as a victim advocate, and I realized at that time that's kind of where it began. If you can work with the victim, you will be able to help them, facilitate through the court hearings and through everything that they need to do to follow it through. And so what I love about our program with Palm Beach County Victim Services is that our staff will work with the client from the day they walk in the door or call, and sometimes they're with a client for a year or two. And then they can also continue on with our therapy services, which are free to everyone, and all our
Okay, so you're saying that when somebody calls and comes in and shares what's going on, you're just not left alone, correct?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Our advocates are all trained in assisting the client with how to do an injunction. They can facilitate what is going to happen to them in the criminal process. They work with them when they meet with law enforcement, when they're doing interviews, and they can assist with getting them to the right resources to do relocation if needed. But most importantly, they work with the client to prepare a safety plan so that when they are ready to take that complete move out the door, that it is a safe one, which is most important.
So what you're saying is that really, if you feel you might be, don't wait till it's too late. Call your office and talk to your office right away.
Yes, you can call, and when you speak with someone, they will discuss with you what is the safest method. So, it might not be come in right away today. So they'll go through the safety process with them. And when they do come in, our staff, they're all certified to do what we call a danger assessment. And that gives the victim also more of an idea of where the lethality may lie and some of the things that they need to look at and be careful.
Okay, let me ask you a question. I've experienced firsthand and was concerned, and I should have reached out to your agency, and I reached out to some of the other agencies. Lots of times today, there are a lot of older women and men who are forced to rent rooms. And then they find themselves being abused, harassed, and it escalates. How can you help somebody in that situation where their income is actually below what people are even charging to rent a room? What happens to that individual, or what can be done?
Well, if it's a domestic, if there's a domestic relationship with that age group, we could work with them to get an injunction. We can refer them to legal aid, area agency on aging. If it's not a domestic, if it's just a roommate situation where they're renting out a room and there's no relationship, it's a little different. But again, that's something we would refer them to more for legal aid or area agency on aging. We're very strong on working as a coordinated community response with the agencies throughout the area so that the victim has best help that they can possibly receive.
Oh, I see. That's great. That's great. Because there are like the situation I explained to, there are so many people out there and they just really don't know what to do. I mean, I know another woman, she's in her 70s, and the woman that she was renting a room from turned around, assaulted her, called the police, and then they actually had the person who was assaulted be almost treated like they're like a perpetrator, and didn't know what to do, ended up having to stay until she was able to actually relocate. But I know that there's a lot of people who have difficulty, especially if they have health issues and finances. It's not so easy for them to really get out immediately and relocate.
Correct.
And it's a real challenge out there.
It is, absolutely.
And what about those who have dogs and they have kids? Where do they go? Because I know many people out there today have support dogs, and they need the dogs. Are there?
We're talking about a domestic situation.
Right, we're talking a domestic abuse situation.
Okay. Well, what we do is we have the shelters. We have the Harmony House and ABDA, which is aid to victims of domestic abuse, and we will refer them to do an intake with them to try to get into the shelters. Most of the shelters will accommodate children, and we have also there's a program now that is helping to foster the animals for brief time while the person is in shelter.
Okay, then how does the person know that who's fostering the dog is good? Is going to be good with the dogs? Or is there any screening, things like that goes on?
Yeah, that's a whole program. that is, certified and all. And I apologize, I can't think of the name offhand, but they work closely with us. And they do have these animals fostered. The people that are fostering them are vetted.
So they know that the animals will be going back with the owner.
Yes. It's the South Florida Link Coalition.
Mm-hmm.
And their program helps get the animals into foster homes. And there has been quite a few success cases where the women and their children have gone into shelter. The animal was fostered, and then once the person was able to, get on their own feet with working and all, they were reunited with their animal when they got their own place.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, I ask you a question. Because of the economy, are there agencies that will help them financially relocate and maintain them for a while so they get on their feet if they're able to?
Well, the shelters, which I'm sure when Abby comes on, they'll talk more about their services. But they have programs. They're the certified domestic violence shelters are the ones who can file for the relocation for the client.
Oh, I see. All right. So basically what you're doing, your agency kind of coordinates for the victim all the different agencies and personnel that's going to come into the picture.
Right. And we do that coordination, but we also, on our end, we're the ones who will respond on a 24-hour basis. We'll let advocates rotate on a 24-hour basis. So we respond to severe domestic or sexual assault, some homicide, DUI, crashes with serious bodily injury or homicide. So with that, we follow through. We are the ones who will stay with the client through all the criminal, all the hearings, all the depositions, and all those things that sometimes make a victim not want to keep moving forward because it's just so much to go through.
Exactly.
Some of these cases last years. So
I think that's really great. I'm waiting for AVDA. I haven't heard from them yet, so I'm going to give you a little bit more time if you have it. Okay. What about, because this happens later on, when a person, say, decides they've been victimized, they've been abused, they've been harassed, and where they were living, and they want to take civil action. Do you ever come into the picture to give support to those who decide later on to take civil action against the perpetrators?
Civil action as an injunction, or civil action as in a lawsuit?
A civil action as in a lawsuit where they go, like a lot of people, if they are renting rooms or they're renting, an apartment and they find themselves by the landlords or the agencies that oversee the place that they're living has abused them. Then after they heal, they want to, okay, now I feel I've got a case and I'm going to have to, but there's fears because of retaliation.
Right. And the thing is that Victim Services, our agency, works for crimes against the person. So we don't get involved in civil action. A crime against the person where they would file an injunction, we would certainly assist them with that. In the year 2018, which is coming close to an end here, we've already served 1,053 domestic violence victims. That's
fantastic. That's in the Palm Beach County area, correct?
In Palm Beach County, yes. And in the year 2017, we served 1,675 victims of domestic violence.
Boy, that's fantastic. It's sad that there were that many cases, but it's so great that you were able to help people in that need because it is such a scary time for them.
Yes.
That is great. Now, I know that there is an 800 number, I think it's called RAIN. Would you like to share that with our listeners so they have that information?
It's not rated, it's statewide.
Okay.
Coalition number for them to call in if they need to call, from out of the area. It's 800-500-1119. And if they call that number, shelter is, they will connect them with them.
All right, and then could you just give that number out again real slow so our listeners can have a chance to maybe even write it down? So I just want to say, if you're watching, please get a pencil and paper or pen and write down this number. Keep it put away where you won't lose it, because one never knows when they could end up facing a situation that requires victim services.
Okay, it is 800-500-1119. And our local Palm Beach County helpline is 561-833-7273. And they can also call that on 24/7 if they don't want to come in and they just want to speak to someone in the middle of the night. There are people at the helpline who will be happy to counsel and speak with them. And if they need to coordinate with an advocate to call them back, or they will do that too.
That's fantastic, because I also know, and maybe you can help me out there, is I know there's sometimes churches will get involved and help provide a person with a room for a couple days, if they're fortunate enough. Is that when the person should call you, is when they then move out and get in a motel for a couple days, because it only, they only give you money for like maybe 2 nights and then you're like on your own?
Well, I would say that they need to, the listeners would need to be educated on some of the flags, the red flags. I think often that many people only see 1 or 2 things that they think might be a problem. So if they call and speak with an advocate and they can go through the safety steps, talk to them about the red flags, help them to recognize and figure out a safe way, then we would take it from there.
That's great. Could you just share with our listeners, because after apparently something's come up, and we're going to have them on another day, can you give some of our listeners some red flags that they should be looking for? Because so many people have no idea that they're even in an abusive situation.
Okay. Well, they need to look at their physical, their verbal, emotional, sexual, spiritual, financial, legal, and stalking. Those are some of the types of abuse. The physical abuse is obvious.
Right.
Sometimes verbal is more subtle, and many times victims just get used to what it is they're hearing and they think it's normal, being put down or embarrassed in certain situations. The emotional part can be, not a narcissistic type thing where they blame them for everything that's going on, or, they learn how to switch it around. That's something that takes time for people to understand, and sometimes they don't even realize it when they are speaking with an advocate here, and they hear it, and then they start to recognize it, which part of that safety planning and lethality assessment that we do helps them to better understand what's going on.
That's really great, because that's why you said 2 things that I found interesting. Number one, a religious way, and then also the fact that being put down, because I know a lot of people grow up in homes where they're put down a lot at different times and not even know that they're even being abused.
Right. So what our staff does is, they build a rapport with the client. They help them to understand and normalize their feelings, and they let them express any emotion that they need to, and that there's never any victim blaming. We believe in what we call, we start by believing. And once you go into it, start by believing, the victim is more likely to open up to the things that they need to say, but didn't realize was actually going on.
So it actually comes out, so as a client comes in or over the phone, they're trained to pick up the signs and to bring it to the attention of the client that's calling in.
Correct.
I think that's great. Do you have a website or anything that our listeners can click on and see in any way? Or
yes, they can just go to Palm Beach County, and then when they link into there's the victim services.
Okay, so what is the actual website so our listeners can write it down?
Okay, let me go back, and I apologize, I don't have that.
That's okay. As I say, when you're doing live radio, TV, you're prepared for the unexpected, just like we experienced.
Right. So they can go to discoverpbcgov.org, or they can just put in PBC, which is for Palm Beach County, gov.org.
That's fantastic. As we begin to close up, do you have any closing remarks you'd like our listeners, because they're going to be from all over the world, listening, because I do want to let you know our show airs on Friday night at 8:30 with PWR Talk Radio. It's Passionate World Net radio station. It's also on my website at coachjudy.info, where actually people can go and click on the link and go to the radio station and listen to the show that we're doing right now within 2 weeks. As a matter of fact, I'll let you know and our listeners know that our show is actually heard in over 103 countries.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so when we're speaking to people we would never expect to meet. And also, for people who are new to the show, and I'm not sure if I said it with you, Susan, is that our shows also go up with not iTunes, but iHeart radio station. They also can even pick up the show through Alexa if they go to our website and get the information to enter into Alexa. And also YouTube. It also is on a company called Spreakers. So our show really gets heard all over the world, I should say, in so many different ways and locations. So what you're sharing is really great because what people don't realize, what we're saying here, you may not be in Palm Beach County, Florida, but you're going to find similar agencies right in your own state or in your own country and city if you Google. And what should our listeners Google to find it, since they're not in our immediate area?
If they just put in victim services, usually will come up right up in the county. And also, I just wanted to note that we do have English, Spanish, and Creole speaking advocates.
Fantastic. I mean, I'm telling you, I think the government is doing a great job by supporting and funding victim services because
absolutely, yes.
I mean, so many people are being victimized. They don't know it. Sometimes they go through most of their life and not know that they have been victimized, that they're even being abused, and that there is even resources to call to really help them begin and end up in a positive place for them to be in.
Right. And like I said, our services are free, and we do have also licensed therapists who do our group and individual counseling, and those services are all free. So it is not something that, they have to be concerned if, they want to go to a therapist or just speak to someone that, it's going to cost them a small fortune, because one of the biggest things with domestic economic abuse. And so when people do not have access to funds, and these kind of services are very valuable, because we will also, once we assist them, say with preparing the injunction, then we will refer them over to legal aid, where they will have an attorney for free. So there's quite a few linkages and services.
Well, I want to thank you, because I have to be honest, back in 1997, I called in after being there as a professional through the single parent organization I also represent. And I spoke to Holly, and she was fantastic. And when I went into court, I didn't have an attorney. I was Holly, it was myself and a friend who happened to be a therapist. And I went in front of the judge on my own with the perpetrator in order to get a restraining order. And they were fantastic. And I really have a special feeling towards your agency as well as Holly, because she did such a great, wonderful job. And as a matter of fact, she even had said to me, she says, "Are you sure you want to go through the restraining order?" Because it happened to be a family member. And I said, yes, because I learned if you're being abused and you do nothing and you just let them walk all over you, it's not going to end. But if you're proactive and do all the things you need to do, if you're really empowering yourself and doing what you really need to do, even the other party doesn't care for it.
Right. And we have to go over all the safety particulars when you do file an injunction, because many people believe that if they file that, then everything's perfect. when they're leaving, that is the highest time of lethality. And the injunction, one has to always remember, it is just a piece of paper. So other pieces have to be put in place so that the client will have the safest preparation for removing themselves from the domestic situation.
Well, I think, Susan, what you have shared today, I appreciate the extended time for you to stay on and share with our listeners this valuable information. I know you're busy, you're doing a great job, the agency's doing a great job, and I really want to thank you so much for calling in and sharing with our listeners really what victim service is all about and some of the signs to look for to know whether or not you might be being abused right now.
Yes, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity. And, we're here. And again, let me give you the hotline, the helpline.
All right.
It is 833-7273. That's 561, and the statewide is 800-500-1119.
That's fantastic. I think you've given our listeners some fantastic information, and hopefully what we're sharing today can actually intercede from many victims out there who learn about our show and what we're doing and this information, that we're going to be keeping people out there from actually ending up dead because they did the right steps at the right time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Judy.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Appreciate your time.
My pleasure. I'm always here to help wherever I can.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, that was Susan from Victim Services. I want to apologize. We had the equipment all set, and for some reason with our one program, I came in, set it up, it was set for volume, and all of a sudden I entered the information and it didn't work. So we will be taking this show on YouTube. I will be transcribing by audio into Spreakers with our website so that you will be able to listen to this show rather than having to watch it on YouTube if you don't have a YouTube, and you can spread the message and share our show. I would appreciate it if you please share our show. This information is so important. I've dealt with abuse on all different levels, one as a child and as adults, and living with people myself. And I can say that thank God for victim service. Thank God for victim services, as it's so important. Abuse can destroy your life if you don't have the support, if you don't have an understanding and learn how to rebuild and reestablish your self-esteem, because that is key. What I want to share with you, I am looking for help by those who care about others. I would like very much to run a phone support group so that if you can't get out, you can contact us and get the emotional support resources by sharing with others by the phone. I will tell you this, to avoid getting perpetrators and the wrong people in, I will ask for a photo ID and specific information so that we can protect you and not have you vulnerable to feeling that what you're saying is going to get out to the wrong person, because everyone who comes into the group by phone, and we're not charging, that you will be able to feel safe and secure, share and potentially build new friendships with those who are ready to move on. And if you have overcome it and you want to get involved and help, I would love to have you come on board and join us. I would probably be doing this through the nonprofit that I have. It's National Single Parent Resource Center. It's better known online as nationalsingleparent.org. As a matter of fact, several years ago, 5 years ago now, after being abused where I was living and assaulted, and actually got a public defender to go after the perpetrator, I decided I had to do something. And so I created the name PMA, Programs and Materials for Reducing Abuse. But let me say this, the program is open to everybody. You don't have to be a single parent, but we do have a nonprofit, and I believe in giving back We're also hoping that we will get new funders and a new board of directors to come on board and help me achieve one of our greatest goals. And I want to give you on Facebook where you can go. You can go to National Single Parent Resource Center on Facebook. You can go to my Facebook page at Judy Romanoff. And on that page, you'll also see a listing for Ask Coach Judy page where you can go and become a follower and a friend and receive the updates to our shows. We also will be doing it for the YouTube station as they have duplicate programs. And because we really want to expand and we really want to provide valuable knowledge, not just for women, not just for men, but to empower everyone with the information that you need to achieve success, whether it's in business, whether it is as a parent, as someone dating. It's really about all types of programs of information on all different subject matters. I'm also going to ask you to please email me at coachjudylive@gmail.com so that I can get the information of what shows you would like to have on Ask Coach Judy. As a matter of fact, I've been talking a while back with a dog trainer that was actually, I think, the Chase Bay commercial. And the reason I ended up meeting him is because he had the name of a friend of my brother's years ago that I had a crush on and had to find out if he was the same person. So we're going to bring on all types of guests. It's going to be fun. It's going to be informative. But again, I want this show to be a show for you, and I would appreciate your support by providing us topics that you would like to see us have on the show. In addition, surprisingly, I've had 2 different companies ask about advertising with the show. We will start advertising in January, and that brings me to a new point, as I can't do it all. I'm looking for 1 or 2 people who can help us with the radio show and getting our show out, marketing, social, whatever can be done to make our show the best show ever and the show that everybody will want to tune into at any time because we're on demand. We're live on Wednesdays at 3 o'clock. I will say I'm taking a few weeks off myself in doing the show. I want to do some reorganization for the show. I'm hoping to get some help by then. And I will say to you, last year in September, I was assaulted by the landlord. I was harassed by 2 roommates. And as a result, I ended up with a condition known as dizziness, which I have every day. And I have to be very careful. And I want to get some physical therapy to try to improve the dizziness, as I want to have all the energy I've got to make your life easier. I want to empower you. So I ask, please, if you've got time, you're not looking to make some extra money, but you want to make a difference, please join the Ask Coach Judy radio show, National Single Parent Resource Center, because it's all about giving back and helping and changing the culture that this country has become, an angry culture, a divisive culture. And I'd like to be one of the shows that can help bring it back together. As a team, we can do it as we will spread the word. Thank you so much for listening. Again, my email address is coachjudylive@gmail.com, and that's Judy with a Y. Go to Facebook, click on Ask Coach Judy and join and follow. Go to our website that I have for personal things such as this show is www.askcoachjudy.info. It will have the links for the show, as well as I'll be putting up the information so you can hear it through Alexa and the various ways you can listen to our show and much more. I do have a blog that I hope to update soon. So again, thank you for tuning in. And if you have a heart and you want to give a little bit, please contact me. I care about you, and we'll move forward as a team, bringing change and positive energy into your life and enhancing what life you already have and making it more exciting. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye.